Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. And our next guest, we're very happy. Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. And our next guest, we're very happy to have here. Ed Lynch is the founder and executive director of Mychal's Learning Place. I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. Mychal's Learning Place, that's spelled M-Y-C-H-A-L. It was inspired by his daughter, Mychal. Ed opened it in Hawthorne, California in June of 2002. So over 21 years, Mychal's has provided the support, training, opportunities to youth and young adults with developmental disabilities to build their independence and pursue their goals. And they have an after-school and an adult day program. They also have two social enterprises, which I wasn't aware of, Mychal's Bakery and Coffee and Mychal's Print and Embroidery. And that helps provide employment opportunities for these individuals. Ed, welcome to the show.
Having
Oh, I didn't. Now I can hear you.
Now I can hear you.
I just want to know: is it Mychal or is it Mychal?
It's Mychal.
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 Okay.
Right. And, I
yeah.
didn't know this was inspired by your daughter. Just tell us a bit about her.
Oh, I love talking about my daughter. So Mikey was born typical, no issues, reaching her plateaus, and then some neurological issues were discovered, and she passed away at 7.5 years old with really no label. And today I don't look at our students with labels, I look at them as individuals. And she inspired me to want to do more and find places where individuals like her can come and feel loved, challenged, respected, treated with dignity, and have the bar set very high.
I just want to jump through the screen and hug you.
Thank you. If she was here today, she'd be 34.
Wow.
Wow.
What a legacy she is living through all this work. That just made me so emotional, Ed. What an amazing dad you are. Really.
I'm a work in progress.
Aren't we all, Ed?
I appreciate that, but I'm a work in progress, and there's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful she chose me to be her dad, that I get to do what I get to do, that I get to create something that will be here long after I'm gone. This has never been about me, so I'm really grateful and blessed that I get to do what I do every day.
Well, let's talk about what you do. Let's first talk about the after-school and adult day programs.
So the after-school program was the first program we started, and we were at a church in Hawthorne for about 9.5 years, which was wonderful. They gave us free space, but it had a lot of limitations, and there was really never going to be any growth or have the opportunities to do what I really wanted to do with our students and provide those opportunities. So we moved into a building in Hawthorne, 10,000 square foot building, did all the build out on it to our specifications of what we wanted. But what we realized was, the after school programs Monday through Friday, 2 to 6, and some, extended hours during the holidays and summers. But what we noticed, the building was empty in the mornings. So the writing was on the wall, we need to start an adult program. And so the after school program, social rec, life skills training, independent living skills, a place where they can just be who they are, and no one's trying to fix them. We don't do any therapies whatsoever at Mychal's, and that has been a good thing for us. It's worked well. And so when we added the adult program, it was really geared on independence, employment, a quality of life that we all get to have, that our students, our participants don't get to have. With an 85% unemployment rate, everything is wrong with that. And so the adult program then turned into adding a couple of social enterprises, and we continue to go from there. Active waiting list for the adult program, not enough job partners, which we're actually starting to address now that COVID is kind of over. That's been a real wrench in our side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ed, I'm just exploring this world. My son Wyatt is 21 now. He's got one more year at his high school vocational program. So for the last 6 months, I've been visiting these day programs. And I'm well aware of the waiting list. I wish you were closer because I love the sound of your program. It just sounds fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about the social enterprises. You've got the bakery and coffee and the print and embroidery.
Yeah, so the first component we added was the bakery. So at our building, we've got a wonderful kitchen space. It's more like a family kitchen. And then Janet started working with one of our students, Ryan, making chocolate chip cookies. And they're really good. And then we said, well, why don't we expand into offering barista service? So we could go out into the community, do pop-up events, corporate partners that we have through the relationships we have. I hired somebody with cafe, coffee experience, and she kind of took it to the next level. And then through support of foundations, we built out our kitchen into a commercial bakery. So cookies, cake pops, muffins, scones, almond bars, loaves. I mean, it's delicious, and I'll put it up against anybody's. And the thing about it is, if you were to walk into our bakery, the students are doing all of it. It's not this, token special needs individual waving at you and, greeting you, and that's it. These guys are using the oven, they're mixing the measuring, they're using knives, they're doing every part of the bakery. And for me, that's our philosophy. I want our students to do everything. They maintain our building. This is their building. This is not my building. This is your second home. You need to treat it like a second home, and so you're responsible for keeping it that way. And then we wrote a grant for a food truck. So we got a food truck that was for coffee service and selling our baked goods, so prepackaged baked goods. We'd make them, we package them, we'd sell them at the food truck and pop up at local events. Since COVID, that truck has been sitting in our parking lot, quiet. But most recently, a little over a year ago, August was the year, we opened up a cafe space at Torrance Memorial Specialty Center, which is part of Torrance Memorial Hospital. We were going to them to see about selling baked goods, and they'd asked about the food truck because they were going to have to close one of their small cafes, one of the off-site cafes. So I said, could we see the space? And that was on a Thursday. They took us down there, and I just kind of looked at them. I said, oh, we could do this. And on Tuesday, we had the keys, and we were opening up on Wednesday.
Wow.
Not having a clue what we were doing, but enough smarts, enough support from the community to bring in the people that know more than we know to make it successful. And we've been there almost a year and a half, and it's wonderful. You walk in, you're greeted by the students, they're making your coffee drinks, we're selling the baked goods, they're making your breakfast items, sandwiches, salads, parfaits, handling the money, doing all of it.
Isn't that great?
Well, tell us about
Yeah,
the printing and embroidery, because if I were closer, I would be going to the cafe, but I'm not. But I bet I could throw some printing business your way. So tell us about it.
I'm actually at the print shop right now because the internet reception is better here than it is at my Hawthorne location. So we opened the embroidery business like 2018-ish. I went to a local community event where they did they had a step and repeat, and they took your picture, and then while you were there, they printed it on a mug. And which I thought was rather strange that they're going to give me a mug with my face on it, because I'm not going to drink from that. And nobody should have to look at my face when they're drinking coffee or tea or something. So needless to say, I left the mug there. I never took it home. But what I got from it is I was watching them make the mugs. And I said, we could do that. We can add this to become part of our adult program, and we could start providing this training. So within 2 weeks, I bought the equipment, included it with our adult program. Jose, who's behind me, his side hustle was doing mugs, tote bags, t-shirt printing, and more. So now you've got somebody in-house that knows about the business, maybe doesn't know the equipment that we have now, because if I showed you the equipment, this is a professional, this is a business, right? And then we wrote a couple of grants, fundraising events. We raised quite a bit of capital and purchased some direct-to-garment printers and some embroidery machines. And it's not silk screen, so you don't have the chemical smell, you don't have the waste, it's environmentally unfriendly. This is direct to garment, it prints right to the t-shirt or it prints right to the hoodie. And then the embroidery, you can embroider on just about anything. And so one of our board members gave us space, we were off to the races. So now we made this part of our day program and started bringing in students, rotating students. And then we had to leave that space. And then a year ago, actually last week, we moved into the space I'm at here in Redondo Beach. And we actually own the property now, free and clear because of donors and foundation support. James, who's right behind, just walked right by me. In the adult program, he's been a full-time employee here at the print shop for over 2 years. So he was an employee over at the Inglewood location, and he's an employee here. He runs the print machines. He knows how to service them, prep them, load them. It's a beautiful thing to see. So if anybody's in Redondo Beach and wants to see it in action, it's really very special. And our partners are corporate partners. I mean, these aren't three t-shirt orders. I mean, they're completing an order right now of 1,200 shirts for Northrop Grumman.
Wow.
That's great.
Yes, yeah. So
you don't want
that's
my
how
little
you can
piddly
see.
business. He's not looking
Yeah,
for my
Shannon.
business.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was saying my business is too small for you. I would be looking for like 30 t-shirts. Might be too small.
No. There are no small orders because the beauty of direct to garment is you're not making screens. So you
Okay.
can do small orders. The point of the 1,200 shirt order was that we're a business, right? We're a nonprofit, we're a business. And you as a customer, you guys are familiar with our population. If you're not and you walk in here, your life has changed.
Okay.
Because you see the students doing all of it, engaging, just being part of the family and team where you don't see a label and you don't see that. That's
Amazing.
the labels that we put on our kids. You know what I mean? It's Johnny. It's not autistic Johnny or Down syndrome. It's just Johnny. Can we
Amen.
just honor Johnny?
Absolutely.
So tell us, you've got some big things coming up. You got some events, an art show on February in a week and a half, and my son's going to be in that, and a luncheon on May 20th.
Excellent.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So we did the art show pre-COVID, and what in the beginning it was a all just community artists, well-known artists, valuable artwork, and just to raise funds for Mychal's. And the first year was a hit. It was a 3-day event, and and then I started to really think about who should this be about? This should not be about Bob, the professional artist and photographer down the block. This should be about the students and the individuals with developmental disabilities that are trying to do something with their artwork. The guest you had before, or the dog artwork, was beautiful.
That's her son.
That's
I
my
love
son.
that black. That blue one is beautiful. That would look so good on a tote bag.
That's
Sorry.
my son's Wyatt's work, and we're going to be bringing
Beautiful.
we're going to be bringing some of his work, some canvas reprints, because all the originals have sold. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
He gets commissioned, but we're
Beautiful.
very excited to take part in this, and so that's on February 11th. What time, Ed?
10 to 4. It's a Saturday open house. There's no cost to get in. It's to support the artists that are there. And
Great.
only, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 are coming from Mychal's. There's another 15, 16 coming. They're from outside the community.
Okay.
And
Because
one
it's
of them
about
might-
that.
And one of them
It's
is
about
Wyatt
that.
Jackson. And tell us about the luncheon on May 20th.
So the luncheon's our biggest event of the year, biggest fundraising event of the year currently. We have another one we think is going to surpass that at some point, but not this year. It's a fundraising luncheon. It's at the Westdrift Hotel in Manhattan Beach. Silent live auction, paddle race, entertainment by our students. All the baked goods for dessert are made by our students. It's just a wonderful family event. Low lift, not your typical nighttime event where there's a lot of drinking going on. I mean, there's wine and beer there, but it's not the same as a late night event.
Right.
This is our 21st one we're doing.
Great. And they can find out about all of this where?
You can go to mychals.org, mychals.org. And then there's links there for social enterprise. There's links there for events. You can sign up for the newsletter if you're interested, and you can just info@mychals.org. and we'll put you on the list and keep you up to date. We're not going to bombard you with emails and newsletters, usually once a month, possibly a blast in the middle if there's a success story that we'd like to share with people. Just to keep people more involved and create that awareness, because the business as well with the social enterprise, the cafe, the print shop, it's that awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's the awareness to try to address the 85% unemployment rate. It's the awareness of showing somebody when they walk in who maybe doesn't have much familiarity with special needs, seeing that somebody's capable and able. So maybe if somebody walks into your office one day that reminds you of that situation, you'll think twice. It changes the culture at a job site. It opens up the eyes to society that we're all the same. Does anybody have a label on your name? I mean, nobody has a label on my name. So why are we doing that, right? How do we get rid of that? And the most exciting thing is we're actually looking to open up our own brick and mortar cafe in Redondo Beach.
Amazing.
And we're excited about that because can you imagine walking into a cafe where there's 80% of the people that are working there and training there are our participants.
I can totally
and
imagine.
doing everything.
Absolutely.
It's going to be
I can
amazing.
imagine it.
All right,
It's
but-
going to
It's
happen.
going to be amazing.
It's going to
But
happen.
here's the
Absolutely.
$64,000 question. Probably much more money than that.
So
So here's the question,
Yes.
though. Is there any thought to creating Mychal's Place other than in Hawthorne, California? Are you talking about franchising this, or writing a book that's a manual so that somebody in Florida who says, I want to do what you're doing, Ed, but I don't know how to, that it shows them how you did it? Because we need we need to multiply you, Ed.
Well, not me.
You.
Yes,
You
one of
do.
my wife would say there's only one Ed. We don't need two Eds. So actually, it's funny you should say that because we're actively working on that. And
Okay.
I don't want to necessarily do a franchise because it's my daughter's name.
Right.
And if we partner with somebody that does something that
Yeah.
you and I would dread and have feared our whole lives with kids,
Yeah.
I would be devastated by that. We are sharing our information with everybody that wants it within reason, of course. I mean, I can't spend 10 hours a week working with one person. I do have a colleague in Plano, Texas, from a place called My Possibilities. They're Mychals on steroids. They are big thinkers. They are about jobs. They're about housing. And again, a colleague of mine, he came out for a couple of days and we're giving him the information that we have here that he could take back there because he has the corporate partners. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the 30 order shirt or the 12 order shirt, right? Because that's an order. It's the big ones that will help keep your doors open and bring bigger revenue into the organization. Particularly if you want to sustain, you have to run it as a business.
Yeah.
Again, all the proceeds from the business go back to the nonprofit and for programs. And we've talked about the cafe I've had so many meetings, you guys. It takes work though. I mean, it really does take work and surrounding yourself with the people that know more than you. I know this much, honestly. This is how much I know. I'm not an expert in anything. But what I don't know, I bring the people around me that know more than me and give them some ownership in this. So they feel like their part has meaning and they've made a difference as well. I'm not a lawyer. Don't want to be a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. Don't want to be an accountant. All of these things that I'm common sense smart, okay? I grew up in Jersey. I'm common sense smart, but that's not, bring those people around me and those people want to help. So I've got somebody actually working on the franchise owner's manual for the print shop as we speak. And he's a volunteer, 70-year-old retired businessman, approached us.
All right, will I be seeing you in a week and a half?
I will be there all day long.
All right, I'll be there too, and so will Mr. Wyatt Jackson.
Absolutely. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
All right, well, Ed, thank you so much for joining us. So lovely that this was inspired by your daughter, and look at the legacy. Look what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's special for me. It's special for me. I love being here. There's not a day I don't want to come to work. It's not a job. I mean, it truly is exciting. to constantly think about growth and expansion rather than being complacent. I can't imagine sitting in my office and saying, okay, I think we've done enough now. I'm just going to sit back and, make sure we pay our bills. It's not in my DNA.
Good for you. Well,
Yeah.
and good for all of us.
Good for all of us.
Thank
right,
you
Shannon?
so much.
Thank you, Ed.
And again, directing people to, what is your website, Ed?
www.mychals.org, and that's mychals.org.
We have it up on the screen right
But
now.
for people who are, we podcast,
right.
mychals.org.
Oh,
Did I get it wrong? mychals.
yes, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love talking about Mychals, and anybody can reach out if they'd like.
Thank you,
so
Ed.
much.
You're an inspiration, and so is your organization.
Take care.